Guess what? Today we're going to give it a try to the cursor editor. I've seen this mentioned here and there a couple of times, but never really saw what it is. And I have a bunch of years in software developer experience, and my original background comes from Drupal, so I had some experience using PHP Storm and then VS Code. And that's what I've been using primarily, VS Code. But here, this is new editor, and I'm pretty curious to give it a try. So again, I have no idea what I'm going to see here. Completely new territory. So let's give it a try and download it. Download is complete. Now let's drag and drop, close, and open it up. Alright, welcome screen wants me to sign up or log in or skip and continue. Let's see what happens if we just skip. Import something from VS Code. Let's skip that. Let's just try the fresh experience. Yeah, let's go with the regular dark mode. Some key bindings from VS Code. No, I don't care about that. Let's just continue. Data sharing, I'm fine with cursors learning from my code. There's no way to skip that. Okay, I guess that's what we're doing. Language for AI, open from terminal. I'll skip the terminal integration for now. All right, looks like this is the editor. Can I bump up a little bit of a zoom, make it a little bit bigger? Yeah, there you go. Open project, let's go with that. I have an existing repository of an application that I built with Claude. It's a pretend home rental booking application, and it is in project. It's home booking Claude, and let's open that. There you go. Here's the code structure. And there's something about this application is I want to refactor a couple of things, and that's what I'm going to give it a try with Cursor. So about this application is that it has this home screen where it says if you're authenticated or not, and here you can go and browse the properties, and for each property you can view the detail. You can go through the booking flow here and stuff like this. So pretty regular thing. One thing I want to change here is that this welcome screen, I want to get rid of it. It's not necessary. I just want the app. When I visit the home page, I just wanted to take it to the property listing like this. So can we accomplish this using this editor? So it has a prompt. So let's try to tell it what we want and see what happens. I'm going to start dictating. Start of the prompt. I'd like to refactor the home page of this home rental application so that instead of seeing the welcome message, when I visit the route path, I want to see the list of properties. End of the prompt, and let's see how far it can take it from here. All right, it says I must log in. Let's do that. Clicking through the standard stuff, and now log into Cursor desktop. Yes, log in. And now it takes me back to the app. Sure, you can do git fetch a couple from time to time. Okay, so now it's actually going to let me to enter the prompt. Let's see. All right, now it's reading the code. I like overall the interface. It's subtle, it's clean. I like the inline scroll here within the pane of code that it is showing. All right, it's showing some edits that it performed, and it says that it did it. Now, is there an easy way for me to view the changes? It appears that it changed just a single file, and it added some stuff. So if I click here, it expands it with the scroll. Okay, so just to check what kind of changes it performed, it deleted what it had, and then refactor it in a way, I imagine, that allows the display of the properties, right? So let's just see what it looks like. If we visit the home page and I visit the route path, oh, look at this. It just shows the properties. So it was able to refactor. It figured out that this functionality involved changing just a single page, and it performed the edits. Pretty simple. And now here, this is the accept button. Okay, I click accept, and I guess this is done. This is pretty cool. The first impression of asking it to do the first change, that was very flawless. let me see one more time. So now browse properties is the main page. And look at this, it says I am not signed in. So let me sign in. The credentials here is user or not user. There are two ways to log in into the system. I can log in as a host, and password is just password123. Now I'm logged in, and it still works the same way. The default page is browse properties, and that's awesome. Now let me check what it looks like just from browsing the code. If I can expand the source, the files here, right? And I can check the page. Git diff shows that this code has been modified. Now is there a terminal in this application? Looks a lot like VS Code. This bottom here and everything kind of looks like VS Code, and I like it. This is a very easy transition just in terms of the experience of this IDE. Now it says, want to launch cursor from the command line, you can add it, blah, blah, blah. Sure, yeah, I like it so far. Let's install the command line integration where I can just launch the code, the editor from my terminal. All right, this is good. Now what I was looking for, is there a terminal here that I can pop? All right, this is the command palette here that maybe it will help me to get the terminal session up. Terminal, is there like open terminal or something? Or maybe it's from the menu right here, terminal. If I click here, all right, it looks so much like VS Code. I like that. Now from here, what I wanted to do is to do git status, see that it modified just this file, and then git diff, see the diff, which is usually my flow. All right, this looks good. And then I'm just gonna push it to main. Git commit, and I'll say update home route. And then I have some aliases that let me avoid typing up everything. So here, instead of git push origin and then whatever the branch it's main, I have the aliases that says git push to the head branch. Okay, so this is pushed up, and I have it connected to Vercel, so we could see it in the cloud, but it doesn't matter for this session. Okay, what else can we do with it? Maybe let's bring it up a notch and try to implement a feature where hosts and guests can communicate with each other through an internal messaging system. So for that, let's come back. I want to get rid of the terminal. I wish I imported the key bindings from VS Code when it prompted it. That was a mistake, not importing it. So here I'll just say, can I go here and say terminal to close it? Okay, it did. Now let's go and create a new chat session. And in here, let's say start of the prompt. Now let's figure out how we can add a messaging feature where hosts and guests can talk to each other through internal messaging, period. Let's not write any code yet. Let's just figure out how we might implement this, and then we'll go from there. End of the prompt, hit return. Now it's thinking. It's researching something interesting. Well, I guess it's reading the code base. All right, creating long output. We'll go for that. But I like the speed here. It outputs, it replies to the prompts very swiftly. Now it outputted the analysis of the current system and says there is authentication using next auth. Yeah, there's properties, mocked properties, and there's bookings, and it's based on local storage. There's no any database or anything like that. There's some basic user management. And then now it suggests the design for a messaging feature. All right, interface for the message, yeah, and then conversation, that makes sense. And then user experience for guests, they can view conversation, start, receive. For hosts, they can do similar things. Implementation strategy, so the for core messaging. Yeah, keep using local storage, I like that. It's keeping things simpler. And then conversation list component, thread, integration, and then advanced features, technical implementation, API structure, UI components. Okay, so it's pretty comprehensive plan on how to achieve this. So let's say At the end it says, would you like me to start implementing this messaging system? It can begin with core types and storage utilities. Yeah, okay, so it's planning when to do it step by step, incrementally. My experience with these bigger kind of features is that the chat window just starts and edits files and goes on, and it goes on for a long time and just gets confused and forgets what it was doing before. I don't know. Should I trust? Should I give it a try and see what happens? I'm super skeptical that it's going to build any even basic stuff successfully that'll work out of the bat without a lot of troubleshooting from my end. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Yes, let's build this incrementally, starting with super simple approach. I don't know how helpful that was for it, but whenever you encourage it to start with a super simple approach, it has more success. All right, now it's implementing message storage and then generating more things. Messaging page, okay, makes sense. You're gonna need a messaging page. I like also the style, the user experience of seeing how the code is being generated. Looking at VS Code with its GitHub Copilot integration, this feels just a little nicer. It gives you more of a feedback on what's going on, while in Copilot integration, it's a little bit more mysterious. It feels like it goes away for a while and just does something that you don't quite know. But here you can see it writing code line by line. Okay, it appears that it built it and it wants me to to start the app. I already have it started in the other tab, so maybe let me check the other tab where the dev server is running, and let me restart it here. All right, it restarted without any apparent errors, which is a good sign. And now here, refresh the app. The homepage is still loading. And look, it added the messages link in the header. With the last, when I was coding this with Claude, I had to, whenever I asked it to build something, I had to remind it periodically, like, the thing you build, how do I get to that page? And here it's nice that cursor added the link automatically. Now it says no messages yet. Start a conversation by messaging a property host. Okay, let's go into some property. Did it add a button to message the host? Not that I immediately see. What if I look for messages? Yeah, nothing here. Maybe I need to log in as a user, not a host. User@example.com. Password 123. And now here, go into the property. There's no... there you go, message host button. Let's click that. Okay, type in the message. Let's say hi, and then click send. Look at that, it appeared the message here. The styling is not the best, but I can't complain. This is pretty good. That it kind of worked. Now, it mentioned that it uses local storage. That means it should persist. If I reload the page, I should see the message remaining. It kicked me out for a login. All right, let's try again. Let's go back as a user. Password 123. Go to the messages. I imagine. Oh, okay. So this is a message list page. Now let's check view conversation. All right, this is nice. So there's some basic CRUD at least working here. It showed the list of messages and it let me click into the thing, and it did persist, even though I had to re-log in for some reason, but that's probably a separate issue. Now, can I log out and log in as a host and then reply and see what happens? Would I be able to find this message or see this message when I log in as a host? Okay, I'm a host. Can I see the messages? Oh, look at this. There is a message. View conversation, and it's styled differently. From my perspective, it looks like I received the message. Now, if I say here, let's say test and send, look at this. It says my name as a host. Wow. This is pretty amazing. Did we explore all of the functionality that this involved? You can create you can view conversations, and you can start the conversation from the listing property as a guest, and then you can respond as a host. This is awesome. This is just working. Let's check the console. Are there any random errors in the code? No, there are not. Through the whole time I went through this flow, after the page reload, it did not log a single error. Wow, I am genuinely impressed. And it was so quick too, the way it implemented it. All right, let's throw one more test at it. Let's try to have it implement a rating system for the properties where as guests, we can leave ratings. Let's see, go to cursor, and I'm just going to abandon this session and start a new one. I'll say, just create a new tab, I guess. So you can have different chat tabs. And this is a little nicer than the Copilot interface in VS Code. All right, now here, actually, before we move on, let me do the git flow here and just commit the changes. I'll use my terminal here. I'll check for git status. All right, it implemented a bunch of stuff. So I'll say git add everything and git commit. I'll call this commit messaging. Git push head branch, okay. And now let's prompt it to build the review system. I am enthusiastic to see what's gonna come out of this, because so far the things I threw at it handled it flawlessly. All right, let's start the prompt. Now let's build the review system where guests can leave a rating for properties. End of the prompt. And just leave it at that. Leave it completely up to its interpretation of how this feature is supposed to work. I'll outline what it needs to do to achieve this, and it just started implementing the files. It looks like it's creating a stub. Yeah, the mocked reviews. This is always helpful to see the existing items, so you don't have to punch in and create them from the interface. It is implementing the storage file that'll handle, I suppose, creating and saving and deleting the ratings. All right, it went for several solid minutes, and now it says the same thing as the other terminal. Let's give it a try. It appears to be done. So here, I'm just going to restart the dev server just in case. And now let's visit the app. Go to the home page, and look at this, the review system. So it added all the mocked reviews to the local storage. Everything kind of says 5 out of 5, so that's a little bit suspicious. But let's click into details. Can we see the actual reviews? Look at this view, showing reviews, breakdown, and everything, just like the real deal in real applications. Wow. If I had to rebuild this by myself, that would have taken me a long time to build this. And here it just appeared after a prompt after a minute or so. So here we have the actual. I wonder where the pictures come from. Is it just some stock images that it's loading from somewhere? Let's check that real quick. Where is that image coming from? It's sourced from Unsplash. Okay, yeah. So here it's a little bit weird that it shows it has 3 reviews. One of them is 4 out of 5. And then overall, okay, overall is 4.7. That makes sense. But when I look at it and in the listing, it's this one. It shows 5. So I guess it's just rounding it up. Now just to test this, can I visit, let's edit the mock file for this one and simulate that one of the reviews is just 1 star. Go to the code and find the file that is for mock, has something mock reviews. Yes, that one. And how can I find the one that is for the property that I'm looking for? Let's say one that says this, that has this string. So that's just the first one. Okay, let's say your rating was 1. Now make sure it reloads. Did it reload? I guess I need to save the file. And now it compiled. Okay, that means it reloaded. Now I need to refresh the page, I suppose. No, this still says 5. How do I make the difference to come up? Sarah Johnson. It is Sarah Johnson. I said rating is 1. I'll say accept, maybe that. Okay, now it recompiled. And now let's refresh the page. I imagine it, no, it still shows. Now this is where lack of my experience with cursor comes. How do I edit the code? The AI part is easy. You give it a prompt and it does everything for you. But now for the first time, I just need to edit a little piece of code, and somehow it's just not taking the effect. Should I stop the dev server and rebuild it and restart it and now refresh? And it still shows 5 out of 5. I don't get it. Now let's check this Michael Chen review. Find that. It's the second one. Rating says 4, and here it says 4. Okay, so there. I'm going to change it to 1, and you better reflect that in the UI. Okay, I hit save, and now refresh the page. Nothing. Now let's kill the dev server. Restart it. Refresh the page. It is still showing 4. What am I doing wrong? Oh, you know what? Maybe it was because it's saved into the local storage or something. Let's check local storage real quick. Application here, bookings, reviews. Okay, yeah, you see in the local storage, it is probably showing rating 5. Can I edit local storage? Is it possible? Doesn't appear to be. Can I delete this so it refreshes? Delete that. And now refresh the page. Okay, now it reflected, it resaved the local storage. Now did it recalculate the score? Here it says 2-3. And if we go to the listing page, refresh, maybe it uses local storage to calculate for the calculated rating too. Let's check that too. Let's see, user bookings. Where's the property list? I don't see it. Maybe it's user bookings. I doubt it. Reviews. Does it have the capability? Look, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this, and can I paste it here and complain about it and say this works? Okay, can I paste the image? Look at that, it pasted the image, and along with that image, let me go drill into here and take an image of this area here and paste it here as well, and then start my prompt. There's something wrong with the calculated rating for a property, period. Look at these screenshots, period. Within the property details, it shows that it has 3 reviews where 2 of them are showing 1-star rating, period. But when I look at the property in the property list page, it shows that the rating is 5 out of 5. End of the prompt. Hit enter. Let's see if it can let us figure it out, or if it would figure it out. Now it's thinking for a little bit longer. It says, I've discovered an inconsistency in the rating display. It says it pinpointed the root cause. Oh, it says it uses hard-coded rating. Now implementing the dynamic ratings. Now it appears to be, I haven't seen this kind of output from the prompt before. It doesn't appear to be writing code. It's kind of just thinking through it. Yeah, okay, that was neat. It showed me its reasoning as it was going step by step of why it thought it appeared that way. The ratings were incorrect, and it showed a few paragraphs of reasoning. And then it figured out, okay, I basically need to get rid of the hard-coded rating and replace it with the dynamically calculated one. And that's what it's doing right now. And it says it's done. So let's go check it out. Look at this. Now the ratings appear to be more accurate. This one is 2-3. Yep, look at this. All right, so it did a really nice job of addressing my complaint. And originally it just hard-coded this value here, right? And that was okay because everything was kind of mocked, and maybe it decided just not to bother implementing this extra functionality for dynamically calculating this rating. And I think that was good, because if we tried to implement a lot of stuff in one go, it would have definitely lost context and got confused and started hallucinating, things like this. So it's actually, I think it was a good thing that it limited the scope of the code it needed to write, and relied on me to review it and just give it further feedback that it successfully addressed. All right, I think this is good for today. This has been a really good experience. I'm really impressed by the experience of just prompting the thing and the feedback that it shows of how it's accomplishing it. I'm lacking the experience of just like editing the code very easily because it's an unfamiliar editor, but everything looks like VS Code, just more tailored for AI. And it looks like you can easily import your shortcuts and maybe even extensions. Not sure about that, but it doesn't look like something that would be hard for me to adopt, or even it would be a breeze to adopt, and that's what I feel like. All right, let me know in the comments what was your experience with it if you tried it, or let me know what you want me to try next. All right, see you next time.